2 Samuel chapter 20, verse 1. There happened to be a troublemaker there named Sheba, son of Bichri, a man from the tribe of Benjamin. Sheba blew a ram's horn and began to chant, "Down with the dynasty of David. We have no interest in the son of Jesse. Come on, you men of Israel, back to your homes." Verse 2. So all the men of Israel deserted David and followed Sheba, son of Bichri. But the men of Judah stayed with their king and escorted him from the Jordan River to Jerusalem. Verse 3. When David came to his palace in Jerusalem, he took the 10 concubines he had left to look after the palace and placed them in seclusion. Their needs were provided for, but he no longer slept with them. So each of them lived like a widow until she died. Verse 4. Then the king told Amasa, "Mobilize the army of Judah within 3 days and report back at that time." Verse 5. So Amasa went out to notify Judah, but it took him longer than the time he had been given. Verse 6. Then David said to Abishai, "Sheba, son of Bichri, is going to hurt us more than Absalom did. Quick, take my troops and chase after him before he gets into a fortified town where we can't reach him." Verse 7. So Abishai and Joab, together with the king's bodyguard and all the mighty warriors, set out from Jerusalem to go after Sheba. Verse 8. As they arrived at the great stone of Gibeon, Amasa met them. Joab was wearing his military tunic with a dagger strapped in his belt. As he stepped forward to greet Amasa, he slipped the dagger from its sheath. Verse 9. "How are you, my cousin?" Joab said, and took him by the beard with his right hand, and as though to kiss him. Verse 10. Amasa didn't notice the dagger in his left hand, and Joab stabbed him in the stomach with it so that his inside gushed out onto the ground. Joab did not need to strike again, and Amasa soon died. Joab and his brother Abishai left him lying there and continued after Sheba. Verse 11. One of Joab's young men shouted to Amasa's troops, "If you are for Joab and David, come and follow Joab." Verse 12. But Amasa lay in his blood in the middle of the road, and Joab's man saw that everyone was stopping to stare at him. So he pulled him off the road into a field and threw a cloak over him. Verse 13. With Amasa's body out of the way, everyone went on with Joab to capture Sheba, son of Bichri. Verse 14. Meanwhile, Sheba traveled through all the tribes of Israel and eventually came to the town of Abel-Beth-Maachah. All the members of his own clan, the Bichrites, assembled for battle and followed him into the town. Verse 15. When Joab's forces arrived, they attacked Abel-Beth-Maachah. They built a siege ramp against the town's fortification and began battering down the wall. Verse 16. But a wise woman in the town called out to Joab, "Listen to me, Joab. Come over here so I can talk to you." Verse 17. As he approached, the woman asked, "Are you Joab?" "I am," he replied. So she said, "Listen carefully to your servant." "I am listening," he said. Verse 18. Then she continued, "There used to be a saying, if you want to settle an argument, ask advice at the town of Abel." Verse 19. I am one who is peace-loving and faithful in Israel, but you are destroying an important town in Israel. Why do you want to devour what belongs to the Lord?" Verse 20. And Joab replied, "Believe me, I don't want to devour or destroy your town." Verse 21. That's not my purpose. All I want is a man named Sheba, son of Bichri, from the hill country of Ephraim, who has revolted against King David. If you hand over this one man to me, I will leave the town in peace." "All right," the woman replied. "We will throw his head over the wall to you." Verse 22. Then the woman went to all the people with her wise advice, and they cut off Sheba's head and threw it out to Joab. So he blew the ram's horn and called his troops back from the attack, they all returned to their homes, and Joab returned to the king at Jerusalem. Verse 23. Now Joab was the commander of the army of Israel. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was the captain of the king's bodyguard. Verse 24. Adoniram was in charge of forced labor. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the royal historian. Verse 25. Sheba was the court secretary. Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. Verse 26. And Ira, a descendant of Jair, was David's personal priest. Amen.